Oh, almost. I almost got it. I almost did it before we started. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Viva Cafe con Leche. Oh my goodness, it is. I'm crooked. Hold on, there we go. Um, the last day of January. Holy crap! The month went by so quickly. Could you freaking believe it? So we're the last day of January, and here in Connecticut is actually snowing. Yeah,
Oh,
they never said anything, wasn't expected, but it's supposed to stop. I don't think it's supposed to do much, but it looks very pretty. And so, yeah, so it's a little chilly, but not too bad. 32 degrees. I am the Badass Buddha, and welcome to the last day of awareness. Go ahead,
I
Claudia.
like that. Buenos días. Thank you, Varas Pura. Buenos días, mi gente, aquí con la Margarita, Milagros, Tiffany, Kathy, Lidia. Bienvenido a Viva. You know, for every beginning, there's an end for new beginnings. I can't get enough of that. I love it. I did not create it. It is just since the beginning of time, I guess. But it is so true. Endless endings are sad yet necessary, and we don't look at them that way. And that's pretty much what we're going to talk about today. When things have to come to an end, there is sadness. But then what does that lead to going forward? So January 30th, it doesn't mark any significant day in my life, but I woke up thinking, it's the end of the month. Like there's something, when you're trying to pull at strings to remember something. And I'm like, fuck it, we're not gonna go crazy like that. But yes, so welcome to Viva Cafe con Leche and this beautiful Tuesday morning. What is the temperature here in Tampa? 66 with a high of 81. Enjoy the snow.
Hey, what are you talking about? Every time I down it, you're like, I love it. Now you're like, in my face.
No, enjoy it. It's
Oh, okay.
January
I
30th.
thought
It's
I
gonna
heard.
be
I thought I
81
heard a
degrees.
little. I thought I heard a little.
No,
It's
it's
gonna be
like
80. It's
it's
gonna be
not
80
supposed
here.
to be hot, you know. But anyway,
But it's less
let's.
humid though, isn't it? Less humid in Florida in the wintertime. I mean, I lived down in Sarasota for a year, and I was definitely there for the winter. And I thought the weather was pretty nice in the winter.
Well, you know why? Because when we freshly come from up north and we're here in the south for the winter holidays, we
Uh,
fall in love with it. It mesmerizes us with this false, pretentious love affair. Gets you all snarled up into the web, and then you move down here, and then you're like, WTF? What the hell did I do? And then you start convincing yourself that you hate the snow, that you could do without the 4 seasons. In actuality, you're not. You're never truly happy because every time Thanksgiving and Christmas rolls around, it's supposed to be cold in our book because that's where we were raised at. So it's then you're constantly in this trying to convince your mind, body, and soul of something that it doesn't want to follow you in. So that's what happens. That's my story.
okay.
Because I hear a lot of people like, oh, I would love it. I went over there for
That's
Christmas
weird.
and we were out by the pool and I love it. But you know what? Anything in moments is delicious.
Anything in moments is delicious.
Then you keep
That
eating.
sounds delicious.
Then you keep on eating bigger servings, and then you become nauseous, and then you become like everything bothers you. It's not good anymore. You don't like the smell. So that's how we have to start looking at things. We have to start taking little bits of what we used to just go full throttle in, because they're moments.
Okay. And what moments will all of you have this year for this month, the rest of the month, for today and for next month? Moments. Moments this weekend here is supposed to be -5. That's a little too cold for me. We were supposed to go to New Hampshire this weekend and it's supposed to be -15.
Wow.
And I have to admit, I'm not a big
That's a
fan.
bit cold.
I'm not a big fan of that cold.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm rethinking the trip because I've figured out that I don't do well with temperatures below 30. I can deal with it for a short burst, but like if I have to be outside, I can do under 30, between 25 and 30, as long as I'm, dressed appropriately, obviously, but I'm not a big fan. But to go below that is just, like the whole plan was to go hiking and snowshoeing and all this like fun outdoor stuff. And in my head, I'm thinking the high is supposed to be 20. That's the high. And I'm thinking, I don't think so. I'm never going to leave. I'm going to leave the facility.
Rain check for the weekend.
Yeah, I would say so too. Kathy says it's wet and freezing today in Texas. Schools are closed, and my lovely husband just called and said he's on hold at work due to the weather. Yeah, they don't. But it's not a lot though, right? Well, freezing. Listen, ice is ice. I don't know why people, say like if there's not a little bit out there, but if you get ice is far worse than snow. I remember when I was working for the school that I was working for, and when it got bought out from private ownership to a corporate ownership, the corporation was out of Utah, and Utah, Colorado, they get snow, and so there was this one particular snowstorm that we had was pretty bad, and we had this liaison that was coming from the school, the main school, the company. He was coming back and forth periodically to help transition, and there was this one particular day he flew in, and then the next, literally like overnight, we had a pretty good amount of snow. So the director of the campuses, there was 3 campuses, decided to close the schools. So he was like put out. He was like, and so was the company in Utah. They're like, I don't understand. Like, how could you close the schools? Because it's just a little
Colorado don't.
snow. It's just a little snow. So thank God the corporate guy was there, the rep, because when we opened the day later, because we only closed one day, but he went out during the day to go like run errands. He came in that next day we were open, and he goes, okay, I see why you closed, because the roads were awful. He's like, we don't have that snow. We don't have that type of snow in Utah. So I was like, I mean, so sometimes you get used to, like New Hampshire, Vermont, they get snow a lot. They go to school no matter what, but they have to get a significant amount before they stop. Whereas like Georgia could just get like a mention. Oh, it's supposed to snow tomorrow, and they'll cancel before anything happens. So you don't need a lot, and you don't need snow. Ice is really treacherous.
It
So I'm
is.
not speaking.
It's like everything in life that would lead to your happiness. You have to treat everything accordingly. Just like there are no two women alike. You have to treat things accordingly. So I'm glad he learned his lesson by running those errands because, sometimes even myself, because when we're guilty of something, we are guilty. And the badass Buddha and I were having this conversation yesterday, how I've always been a certain way. I've always behaved a certain way. I've always looked at things, particular strength and weaknesses a certain way. And it always left me a bad taste when somebody was just not willing to fight and easy to just have 50,000 reasons to just stay where they were, yet 100,000 reasons of complaints because they're staying where they were. So we have to look at each scenario has a story. And all we're going to say with today's topic is, with every story that we have, we should, since we're writing the damn thing, always write a happy ending.
Mm-hmm.
There should always be a happy ending to your story, because there's a million scenarios out there. People are going to input a sentence here, write a place a word there that's going to take a positive paragraph and make it negative in totality. And what's going to happen? You're writing the story. It's your story. Do you go from strength to survival mode, to just living, to submissiveness, whatever the hell story? It is your story to write. So how's it going to be? Like earlier moments. And you see how every story went from snow to this to that. But at the end thing is, everything is what it is. And how are you looking at it? What lenses are you looking at it?
I'm looking at it that it's beautiful. It's very pretty out. I'm happy that I'm inside. I'm happy that I don't really have to. I mean, I don't mind traveling in this. This is nothing, but the best is when, it's like the big one, where they're closing schools. They're like, people are deciding not to go to work because it's in the midst of it. I like that big snowstorm, and then I like to clear the driveway and then be able to get on with my life. Like with the snow on the ground, I'm fine with. I want to hold on a second. I just want to remind everybody quickly to don't forget to like, share, follow, subscribe. See if we can get more people on. We have very few eyes. As I'm looking at it, we have very few eyes on this morning. We would like to see a lot more. And we want to make this year really big for Viva. We really want to see if we can get more subscribers, more followers, people that we haven't seen. Good morning, Tata. Tata has jumped on. So we want to see if we can start inviting people, like directly invite people that maybe you've never invited before, or maybe they've never seen us before, but they know about us, and just keep inviting them. I'm sorry, Gladiator, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
No. Good morning, Tata.
Oh, look at what Tiffany said. Nightmare or
Exactly.
testimony? It's your story.
It's your story. Enough with we get happiness comes from a place of choice, and happiness comes from a place of shit's gonna happen, but it's how I look at it. When nightmare testimony, when we walk in our truth, and you can be scared as hell. When I'm constantly talking about walking in your truth, don't think I'm talking like the gladiator that I am. Because, Elvis Presley threw up every single time he had to perform. And I say Elvis Presley because you all know the story about him, my daddy, right? So, I mean, we grew up watching every single movie, every documentary. Like his mother, we felt she was our grandmother. That's how much my mom loved this man, right? But he threw up every single time he either had to go on a talk show, on a little rinky-dink stage, on a big arena stage. It didn't matter. What happens is he still faced his fears because he knew he was bigger than them. He knew that fear was going to vanish as soon as he stepped up on the stage. It was the thought of going there. Now, how many of us have been held back in our dream life, whatever it may be, owning a farm, growing a garden on your back porch, going to the beach in a 2-piece bikini thong and you have a fupa. All of that, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, fupa, chichos, like you're hanging all over, like 3-dimensional hangover.
And people are like, oh, I can't wear that. People are going to look at me. It doesn't matter. You know why? Because that always held me back. There was a time before I learned about my body and before I self-isolated this past summer that I was always like, oh, but look at this, look at that. And you know what? It doesn't matter. Because you know what I had to remind myself? When I would be on the beach and I would see a full-bodied woman in a 2-piece, I didn't see ugly. I felt admiration. Like, damn, look at her. Good for her. Of course, that first thought is going to be like, how dare she wear that 2-piece? And then I would see I would watch like a stalker, maybe. Maybe I'm not admitting to that. And then you see them laughing and you see them having fun. And then all of a sudden it felt a warmth in me because then you honor, like, wow, look at them. They don't give two shits about who might be judging them because who is anybody to judge us? So you see, when you're
And sure
seeking
don't.
the truth, when you're walking in your truth, you will have fear, you will have insecurities, you will maybe have more self-doubt than the joy of what you're gonna about to do. But remember, it's a moment. If you're afraid to do something and you're gonna launch forward with it anyway, don't think of the long term, don't think about how long you're gonna be, let's say, giving a speech or you're going to be doing something. Think of it as a moment and go forward with it because life is but moments.
And speaking of, before I head out to go to the bus stop,
We got to do our mantra.
let's quickly we'll set our intention for today. We'll do our mantra. So the intention for today on Viva Cafe con Leche, as always, is to be intentional, whatever that may be. Set your intention now, set your intention after, set your intention throughout the day. Just be intentional and decide what that's going to be. And maybe it is going to be, I'm going to set the intention to be happy and have a great day today. So set your intention and
be grateful. You know what? Without a challenge, you don't know what you can endure. So set your intention to be happy and be grateful for every obstacle that comes your way today while that intention has been set.
good morning, Wanda.
Somebody
Yes.
cuts you off. Somebody beeps the horn when the light just turned green. I mean, things that will set you off easily. Everybody's different with that.
I hate when they do that.
You
You're
know,
like, give me a second.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. We allow people, places, and things to rob us of the joy that we put in place that morning. When we get up in the morning, the only armor you should be putting on is the love of God, the grace of God.
All right.
The courage of God. So when you go out there, okay, you're gonna go to give Charlotte a kiss for me. So
no, I'm gonna go in like a minute.
So then when you do that, guess what? Nobody. You set that intention. God has said, set it to be happy today. That's what we're talking about today. Set your intention that at 9 o'clock you're gonna be like, boom, press go, and then carry it in gratitude and don't let nothing bother you. It's going to be hard. You're going to be grinding your teeth. You're going to be rolling your eyes. You're going to be taking deep breaths. Make sure you don't pass out if you take them too deep. Do whatever it takes to challenge yourself in the courage that it would take to not let anything or anyone rob you of your happiness for 12 hours today. And do it in moments. That's a great challenge.
Listen, I'm looking at the, I'm so stupid. I'm looking at the time because I don't have my glasses on, right? Because my reading glasses, I'm looking at the time and I'm going, oh shit, it's 8:31. I got to go, right? And I'm going, why isn't it changing? Why isn't it changing? And I'm looking at the date, 1:31. It's 8:25, right? So I still have to, I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, that's the longest minute ever. That's
like, yeah, and here you are. So there you are. So I mean,
let's do our mantra.
Yes, please.
All right. Oh my God. This is, see, we're making this happy for you. Like if you were in a bad mood, how could you be in a bad mood any longer with the foolishness, with some of the stuff that's coming out of our mouth this morning? So good. So here we go. I don't even know what I'm talking about. Here we go with the mantra. Say it loud, say it proud. Let's get it busy. I am a disruptor.
I am a disruptor.
I am unapologetically courageous.
I am unapologetically courageous.
I am spiritually grounded.
I am spiritually grounded.
I am magically orgasmic.
Ole.
And we
keep it
real. All right. Gladiator Guru, tell them the story, what you said to me yesterday with regards to your job with the mantra.
Oh, yes. I, for those of you who work it's difficult. And I salute you all, because it is so difficult dealing with so many different spirits, so many different tempers, so many different, um, how do you even put them in together? Just so many different work ethics, right? So I walked through the hall, and not to get upset, because I've been for a couple of years not really working on. Now it's just my anger. Before it was rage, so I'm doing better. So I'm doing the mantra, right? I am a disruptor, and but one of the girls like, "What are you saying?" And I repeated it, and and she looked like, but I think at one point I'm doing this on the table after each one, like boom, that's it. Pa que tú lo sepa, right? So she was, and I said, this is our mantra. This is the Viva Cafe con Leche mantra of the tribe. This is what we share with, which I'm hoping the tribe also shares it forward, because this is what allows you to be who you are. I am a disruptor. I stand for humanity, especially in a job where I work. And I broke it down to her, and she was really quite amazed. So I said, watch the show. Go on Viva Cafe con Leche. I wrote it down. YouTube, subscribe, watch some old shows if you want to start from the beginning, or just randomly pick. You got to randomly pick or watch from the beginning, or pick a topic that calls your attention. I'm talking to you now. But yeah, that's what it does. And Jocelyn was very receptive of what I was telling her. Other people don't. I have it written on my desk. Oh, Chanel, you see, that is yeah, that is beautiful. And I'm sure that I said something else, but because that's why I love when the badass wouldn't have conversations. We normally write stuff down. I wasn't at the table yesterday, but she does really capture what I say most of the time, because I am like, I don't know, those
Well, we both do it. We both do. We go on these spurts, and then the best is when she'll say, or I'll say, we'll say to each other, "Oh my God, okay, wait, can you repeat that? What did you just say?" And we both say, "No, because I don't know what the hell I just said." And then we try to repeat it, and it's like nothing. That's why I said to her one day, I'm like, just our conversations, we need to start recording. And then, we don't need to keep them. We just need to like review it for really good information, and then, erase the conversation. And then, because every so often we have these juicy things. Like yesterday, we were on for like almost 2.5 hours, I think, on the call, and we get onto these roles, and we cover all this territory, and it's great, because that's when the real magic happens. It's that when we go from like one subject to another, and then it just flows out really quickly. But yeah, that happens all the time, where like, or she will have a pen, or I will have a pen, and we're just, wait, slow down. You're like, I can't, because it's just coming out, and I can't repeat what I just said.
But you know what the beauty of life is?
What is the beauty of life?
The beauty of life is that every day we wake up with the choice
my arms up
to carry that kindness in our hearts, which means that in order for us to carry kindness and gratitude in our hearts, we must choose to look at life in the light, which is happiness.
Yes.
Now, happiness isn't going to, at all costs, just pop up like slut magic for us. It's not.
Magic.
We have to work at it, okay? Because we have to decide every day, am I going to fill my spirit with negative self-thoughts and then be mad at the world? Because the world ain't doing shit to you. They may not be doing shit for you, but they ain't doing shit to you. What are you doing to yourself that creates both of those negatives, the for you and the to you?
Well, the thing is, the world is the world. I mean, it's always going to be the way it is. Like, there's no way around it. And yes, there are moments where it feels like the world is after you, but it's the truth. In the end, it really is the truth. It's like, what are we doing? Because the world is just that, as it is, every single day, whether we're happy.
The world, like the universe. Nobody has access to you unless you allow them. So I can say my boss is really causing me all of this, blah, blah, blah. But then why am I still there? Why am I not having a conversation? Why am I not going up the chain of command? There is so many ways to go about something. So, but today is, are you happy? Now, in my journal, I hate that we started this, but in my journal, I'm plugging myself in because I think this is a phenomenal journal. I am so in love with myself right now that it is ridiculous. There's not a If you have anything other than love for me, then get in line with the other ones. It's going around the corner right now. But this journal, I think I fall in love with the things that I do. It's not about who's going to perceive it good, who's going to want to order it, who's going to do this. It's not about that. It's about I followed through on a promise I made to myself. And I did it with all the women in mind and hoping that it falls into the right hands where they can, with it's the most simplistic journal of questions. I'm not trying to delve into your soul and open the curtains and reveal all the high quality furniture or Renaissance furniture you may have in there. What I'm trying to do is get you to understand the you that we have had to suppress because of life. One of the questions in there that I love is what I think we all should always and constantly ask ourselves. It's a daily question. It's not you saying, oh, I'm Margarita, and go on through life knowing that I'm Margarita. No, happiness is something that we're going to talk about but in here, that's one of the things. And that's all it says. Are you happy? Because it's something we have to work on. But just like anything in excess, when you say you're happy, and when the Varas Buddha comes on, she can go into to say that I'm happy is not suffice. I have to walk like I'm happy. I have to speak in a happy tone. I have to, in other words, believe that I am going to be happy in my today and in the moments that I am living from hour to hour. Work isn't always going to make us happy. Do we need it in order to survive? Yeah. But just like anything done in excess, we are not going to have positive moments all day. And people believe that's where happiness is derived from. But you know what? Those negative moments, those devastating moments, those annoying moments, they serve a purpose because all they remind you is to get back on the saddle. Is to go back and say, okay, how do I eliminate these type of happenings happening in my life? That's when you right the wrongs of your journey, not of the world. People, places, and things are going to do exactly what they're supposed to do. The universe is just that. It is a vast universe. When we set our intentions, when we manifest, when we say prayers, we put it out to the universe, to the heavens. And the universe, the heavens, they don't distinguish between negative and positive. You're putting something out there, it's going to give you what you're putting out there. Only you can detect by knowing who you are, what you will and would not accept, what you will and would not tolerate, what you will and will not deem happy for your soul. So anything in excess, we know that. I mentioned it earlier. If you take life in the moments, if you take the 12 hours that we're like fully awake and you hourly live in the moments, guess what? The day goes by quicker. The day goes by more pleasant. Shit's gonna happen. People are gonna disrupt your flow. Okay? You're gonna drop all the paper that you just printed. You're gonna have happily sat down because you finished a project. You're gonna take a sip of your coffee. You're gonna spill it. Shit's gonna happen. Are you prepared to look at it and laugh at yourself and be like, oh, if I don't laugh, I'm gonna tear this place up. But you're still doing something positive. You're looking at it as you know where it can go if you allow yourself to go there. It's about holding yourself accountable. It's about being aware of who you are, what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, where's the shit you need to work on, and then making a choice for yourself each and every day that you get up to do that. Are you going to eat healthy today? Are you going to begin slowly eliminating what you no longer need in your body? It tastes good when it touches this, but just, how many orgasms have you faked in your life? Maybe that bread is just doing that. It's something you're used to. You can do without it if it's causing you problems in your gut. Our gut is the king of our body. If that's not happy, nothing else is happy. So what are you eating? And maybe the Badass Buddha, we can do a show on that because she has been talking to me about different, she's always seeking a better, healthier way for women over 40 to have a happy gut. So, and she was telling me some stuff yesterday. And sometimes it's just the most simple stuff. But like my journal, like life, when it seems too simple, we overlook it. And then when life gets too hard, we try to ignore it. Make up your mind. You got to be a balance somewhere. And that's where happiness lays. Confront. I love confrontation. She's my best friend. People look at it as such a negative word, but it really isn't. Confrontation means you're clearing the air on something. And once you clear the air, whether you decide to speak to each other again or not, there's clarity in your life. Or you clear the air and then you both end up laughing because, oh my God, I was so silly. I thought it was this. I thought it was that. Confrontation is good. When you confront yourself in the mirror and you call yourself out on the bullshit you've been doing to your body, what you've been feeding your spirit, all those negative thoughts you've allowed to have, a party, just stomping and dancing and looting your brain. All those excess moments, you have to choose what's going to make you happy. And in the moment of negative thinking, in the moment of non-positive scenarios in your life, happiness does not evade you. If anything, it's giving you a sneak peek of what road you're going to go down if you lose sight of what you're supposed to be doing in your life, which is choosing you. And to choose you, you got to choose that there's going to be good days, there's going to be bad days, there's going to be some fucked up days. But how you choose to navigate those days is what concludes whether when you lay your head down on that pillow, I was happy today amidst the chaos. Sorry. You may go on.
Oh, thanks.
Mm-hmm. Your turn.
So, we've been talking about awareness the whole month. We've been setting everybody up for the next month, because remember, this whole quarter is about you. It's about knowing, know thyself, right? And so it starts with awareness, and then we're going to go into the next phase, which we're going to talk about at the end of the show. But this is the last day. I mean, this is a really deep question. Are you really truly happy in your life? You could say, well, I like some things in my life. I like some, there's certain things that I like, but
give us an example. Can you give us an example? Did we talk?
You could say that you like your job. You could say that you like your relationship with your children. You could say, I like my house, or I like my kitchen. It could be specific things. So it makes me happy when I come home from work. I go to work in the morning. I'm happy because I like going to work, or I come home from my work day or I work from home and I'm just happy because my kitchen is just, the way I want it. Those little things, especially for women, that make such a big deal. We want our nice.
I was never that woman.
Well, I definitely was. But you're different though, because like you like jewelry that makes you happy. Like I've never been a jewelry person, so everybody teaches his own. So the thing is that it's okay to have you want that list, but then you have to look at the bigger picture. are those things that are making you happy daily, which are great, by the way, because you're saying I'm happy, are they also creating that smoke screen for the deeper pieces of yourself that are, when you look overall and you say, look at my life, am I truly happy? And we're going to throw two things into this mix, okay? Because you have the outside, the external, when you look at your life and say, am I truly happy? That you have the internal. So, like, in other words, a person could be in miserable situation and circumstances, but they say each day, I'm just going to be grateful and I'm going to be happy because this will pass. Okay. What we're trying to get you to understand is you have to consider both elements. You have to ask yourself the deeper question, because if those are just the smoke screens, but every day you wake up and you're just like, oh, God, I don't even want to get out of bed because I really don't like my life, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go to work because I love my job. So, and then you distract yourself. So every day, people don't have to be happy every moment of every day. But when you can go to bed at night and say, I'm happy. Today was a really good day. It was not everything went the way I wanted it to, or it wasn't, but it was a good day. That's when you know that you are truly happy. And because some people will settle and they'll go, well, how could you be happy all the time every day? You can't be happy all the time every day. Okay, that's true, but how could you be happy with everything in your life? Because there's always issues, like I can love everything about my life except my spouse because he's a pain in the ass and, he doesn't make me happy. Well, but why does that have to be a settled piece? Look at what's not making you happy with that spouse and see if it can be worked on.
Yeah.
Because we just do that. We sort of focus on the things that do make us happy, and then we discard the other things, and then those will fester like a sore. They'll just sit there, because trust me when I tell you, they will get you. You could just be like doing this, la 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 la, and it's just building and building in the background until at one point or another it will explode, and you will be loaded with all kinds of scum from that sore that festered that you just refused to deal with. And I've come to the conclusion in my life, especially, that the certain pieces that I have left on that back burner have been boiling over for like 2 years now. And finally having to get to those where I'm like, okay, that's it, no mas. It was a process for me. But there were a lot of times where I was lying to myself to say, I don't need to worry about this piece because I'm working on this piece and I'm doing fine. When in reality, that piece was a crucial part. So now I'm 2023 is I've had to, with all this stuff that we've been doing, because that's what Gladiator Guru and I are gonna talk about. We talked about this yesterday with everything that we've been doing this month for all of you. We've been following suit with it. We've been questioning ourselves. We've been asking ourselves the same exact questions we've been asking you. And I had to admit to myself, overall, am I happy? And there's about a third of me that's not, because I have not dealt with certain circumstances in my life. And now is the time. Like that, now is the time that it has to be dealt with and eliminated, because that's been holding me back from going out to the next level of myself. And I could sit there and say every day, well, I mean, I wake up and I'm happy, and by the end of the day, I'm happy. And it's true, I have my bad days, but that piece still was just sitting there and hoping.
Mm-hmm.
And now I've started to actually move it into the right direction. So I am praying for myself that I have the strength to keep moving forward with that decision, and then things will shift drastically. And at this point, I don't care if they get bad to worse first, as long as I am letting go of that piece.
And that's courage, because as she was saying, thank you for that, because you're right. We have been opening the portals that we have closed within ourselves during this awareness So what we sit here every Tuesday and Thursday for this month speaking about, we have also been incorporating it into our lives. And let me tell you, when you decide to dedicate to watch these shows, if you have watched it since the beginning of the quarter, and every Tuesday listening and participating in the comments on this awareness piece, little do you know that it has been working for you. Because we sit here and plan for it. We discuss it. We read your comments. And no matter, let me tell you something. There's in life, it doesn't matter what status you are. There's a gray area. There's going to be gray areas. Doesn't mean that you go from happiness to depressed. You know what it means is there's that gray area called life, because we are not living on a mountaintop with ourselves. There's happenings happening, right? So to feel happy all the time is not an expectation we should carry.
Right.
Pain is a reminder that you are alive. We need to feel pain. Sometimes we need that reality check, because sometimes we go to extremes. There are some of us that are extremists. I'm going to be happy no matter what. And now they're going and building that other bubble of false expectations.
Then they lose it. They're the ones that like lose it on everybody, like in a negative way.
Yes. So, and negative emotions are necessary, and they're healthy for maintaining that baseline stability and happiness. Because when that negativity comes, it's going to remind you of where your ass needs to be. Again, maybe you fell off. Maybe you took a break. Maybe you did whatever. Maybe you took a detour. But that negative emotional state that we can find ourselves every now and again, stop the blaming. Stop blaming everything and everyone around you and look at it. Where was I a week ago where I wasn't feeling this way? And find your way back there. The badass Buddha shared her negative, like what she's been doing, what decisions she made in the in the last, what she's doing now that took her 2 years to do, right? Did I sum it up correctly, badass Buddha? So it's like, okay, so mine is the negatives in my happiness is my menopause. I'm almost 6 years into it. And it has really took my body for a ride and didn't invite me. It has done things to me that I did not give permission to. So I can be there and hate the fact that I'm a woman dealing through menopause. And unfortunately, for you younger ones out there, you will be where I am at. Because that's just the flow of womanhood. And I don't have, I'm not into that hot flashes. I don't get them like I did with perimenopause, waking up drenched in sweat. Not in. And I'm telling you, this summer will be 6 years I'm into it. So what are the negatives in my happiness? And I say this to tell you that I have lost estrogen, I'm low in testosterone, and I lack semen. So I'm like in a place of, I'm in a place of what the fuck? On the corner.
If you, the listener, did not understand that, then you need to check yourself, because if you just, that was
probably
funny.
Went over some people.
That was funny, my friend. That was good.
So
me too, by the way.
Yeah. So the negatives in my happiness, you can find me on the corner of what the fucking fuck my life occasionally. But you know what? Let me tell you, life is beautiful. Every day that we rise to the symphony of the birds singing outside our windows, or the woodpeckers banging on something they shouldn't, the sun rising, the smell of whether it's snow coming or the dirt preparing for the rain to come. I mean, the senses can fill you alone with happiness, because what are we doing? We are missing the pivotal points in our life, which is our 5 senses. We don't need anything else outside of us. Start the day enjoying the fact that you're alive. Whether you got to go to work and you hate your job, you know what? The darkness only lasts through the night. If you really hate your job, start looking for another one. Take the pay cut loss if it's going to bring joy to your life, which would add longevity to your life, which then in turn will make you a great person to be around your family, your kids, your grandkids, because that's what happens when we make decisions to bring joy into our lives. It just overflows into the people around us.
You want to know? You want to know the quickest way? Okay, go ahead.
No,
Finish
no,
what
no.
you're.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, you want to know the quickest way to really review and ask yourself that deeper question: Are you happy overall? Is how often do you get angry during your day? Like, how often are you pissed off about something, one thing or another? Like, and especially if it's stupid stuff, if it triggers you, because, and I know how much Gladiator Guru loves that word, but really, like, how much it just like something stupid sets you off, because, or someone stupid sets you off, because that is when Gladiator Guru was talking about we have to know bad to know good. We have like all those opposites. That's the truth. The anger is what gets us to a place of observation to understand that this is not okay anymore. And this is one of the things that we were talking about yesterday, that when we're ready for a change, when something's not right, when something was presented to us that's not good or was effed up, or we get angry, like we get really pissed off, and then we go through this kind of mind game. Some people are okay with the angry, and other people are like, I don't want to stay angry anymore. I don't want to hate somebody or something. I don't want to be angry anymore. But the anger is what pushes us. Like, anger is good. When you are working with anger, you and we're going to actually have a show on this coming up, but in February, March, I think it is, but, or no, I think March. Anger is really good, because anger is what makes it makes things noticeable to you and says, I'm giving you the oomph to do something about it. Because when we are happy, here's the crappy part about being happy. This is why you have to be very careful about using it as a smokescreen. When you say you're happy, you don't need to make a change, because you are comfortable. You become complacent. So the anger comes in to say, this is not okay. You need to do something about it. So you have to sit with that sometimes. And in order to get to the happiness, truly, you got to sit with that anger and go, okay, what am I really thinking about here? That's why we asked you, what are you tolerating? Tolerating is another smokescreen. It's just saying, well, I'm not really okay with this, but I'll be okay with it. You're not being okay with it, though. You're lying to yourself. You're saying, I'm just going to deal with it, but I really don't like it.
Well, that's when you minimize yourself, right?
Minimize, and then you lessen it, but it's that festering sore. It's going to, after a while, it's just going to keep going, getting bigger and going. You didn't fight the infection, just squeeze the pimple a little bit, but you didn't fight the infection, and now it just keeps getting bigger. How many times are you going to squeeze the pimple? So sit with that anger. When you ask yourself, am I happy? What in your life still angers you or upsets you or pisses you off? Doesn't have to be anger, like seething, but you never know. Maybe it is there and you've just been hiding it with the happiness.
Pretending to be happy, because that's another thing. Thank you for saying that. When we tolerate shit to avoid arguments with somebody, I know, Lydia, that cracked me up. She said, I'm 70 and I'm still horny. Girl, I'm with you, but I just.
Well, I just don't have the partner. That's
yeah, I haven't dated.
Lydia.
Look it.
I can't wait.
March will be 6 years. I'm a widow, and it's been 6 years I have not dated anybody. I didn't say I didn't have sex, but that'll be almost 4 years. So what I'm saying is, I'm with you. I'm multiple orgasmic. That's where magically orgasmic came from. So I love that you are with your hubby in your 70s, and let's get it on. What? Get it? But let me tell you, we go to extremes, right? When we tolerate the bullshit, because we don't want somebody getting upset with us, we don't want to start an argument, we don't want to do this. So that means you're not walking in your truth, you're faking the bullshit, and now you're more miserable and more miserable. And then what happens when you're living that life? You become judgmental, You become envious of other people, become
Yes.
jealous. You
Yes.
start like creating all these false lies
And
on people and their
trauma.
relationships because it's not something you have.
Yep.
And then you want to come to me and say, well, I'm happy. I don't care about all that. You're lying to yourself. And that's my biggest pet peeve. And nunca te engañe. Don't lie to yourself because I'm not going to chew your shit that you're trying to make me swallow. Look in the mirror, reflect.
You always have these good
We have breath in us. We have the opportunity to work miracles within us through prayer. Yahweh is always listening. Through self-love, that cultivation of self-love, self-belief, the higher self-esteem. So, you know what? Negative emotions are necessary because I'm going to read you something for maintaining stable baseline happiness in one's life. In fact, if you deny the negative emotions, I'm always happy. I barely get angry or I don't let that bother me. You're lying because sometimes we must let things bother us to realize what we will and will not allow to bother us going forward. You cannot tell me you don't like pistachio cake if you ain't never ate pistachio cake. I'm going to look at you like you're an idiot. How are you telling me you don't like something you've never tasted? It doesn't make sense. What you heard you heard from somebody it didn't taste good, or maybe you heard it tastes like this. No, unless you have tried it, you cannot tell me you don't like it. So what this was saying, if you deny these negative emotions, it would lead to more prolonged negative emotions and even emotional dysfunction within yourself. Let's not do that. Let's face things as they come. Don't go out looking for shit. But when it's crossing your path, square it up. Look at it for what it is. Have that conversation, as uncomfortable as it may be. Realize, smell it, taste it if you have to. Make a solid decision you can live with and move on. Yeah. Your decision is not my decision because we look at things differently. We see things differently. We smell them. We taste them differently. What's for you may not be for me and vice versa. But if you know who you are, if you're seeking your true self in everything you do, then you can make a decision. And who gives a shit who agrees with you or not? It's your life. It is your path.
Yeah, and not everybody's going to agree with you. I think that's I wish that was the lesson I learned when I was a kid. I mean, my parents would say things, don't worry about what people say, but that just blows right by you, like I have to explain to my daughter why, if I say, why don't let what other people say bother you, you're in charge of your happiness. I can't just leave it there. She doesn't understand. I have to go deeper. This is why. And maybe it's my parents weren't capable of doing it because they themselves weren't truly happy, but that's the beauty of what I've learned over the years by observation, watching them, listening to them, dealing with a lot of crap over the years. But I've learned that that's, you have to have that explanation behind it sometimes. And it's the truth. I mean, like if I remotely understood that not everybody was going to like me, that not everybody's going to agree with me because everybody has their own opinion, and then just say they have the right to have their opinion. And if they choose not to like you, just move on. Like if I understood that at an early age, it would have been I would have been on a completely different path because, but whatever, that's the past. I'm glad I know it now. Like now I really don't care what other people say. I just know me. And if they choose not to like me or they don't like what I'm saying, if they don't like what I'm saying and they're saying they're interpreting it wrong, I will try to correct it because especially if that's not what I mean. But again, perception is personal. So a person will still decide what they believe you said, even if you've explained it numerous times. So I give it a couple of shots. But if you got to know me, you would know who I really am. You would know the type of person I am. And that's what was important to me. What makes me happy is being true to myself. What makes me happy is understanding myself, constantly checking in with myself, being very clear on my boundaries and my values. That's what makes me happy. And then looking around and going, now, am I making people abide by those rules? Like, because that's what was not making me happy. What was not making me happy is I was allowing certain individuals to break those boundaries, break those rules. And I kept letting it happen over and over again. And then finally, that's when I had to say, okay, I'm the problem here. It's not this other person or people or situations. It is me not standing up and saying no more. So my happiness is my choice, and I'm choosing to let these other things continue on. So what's the answer to that is to stop those things from continuing on. And so you can only take that for so long, but there's some people that will go a whole lifetime where they will just settle, they will settle, they will settle. And then they get to these ripe old ages where they're sitting by themselves in a nursing home where they still have their faculties, and they're telling these young people that are helping them, saying, let me give you some advice. Live your life the way you want to live it. Don't settle. Like they're telling this because they're saying, because they did, and they're trying to impart wisdom. And then we're like, oh, whatever, let me go on my social media and see what's going on. And we're completely oblivious to what truly we want in our lives and what truly makes us happy.
Exactly. It's what you really, if I can leave anything of advice, those who know me know who I am. Be honest with yourself. Don't be pretentious. Don't live a facade where you're letting people think this is who you are and you know that you're not, and then you get offended when you're called out on your shit. Be a grown-up. You want to be treated like an adult? Then be a grown-up. By being a grown-up means you have learned where you came from, who you are at the moment, and what you need to grow into. Because we all are not grown. We're not born with the knowledge of all the twists and turns of life, or the hurt, the deceit, or of the joys, all of it, good and bad. The gray areas exist, and there's more than 50 shades. So if you want to really move forward in your life, look in the fucking mirror. Figure out, why does this upset me when people say this to me? Or why don't I like when this happens? Why? And then work it. We have to approach things the way we want people to approach us. If you're gonna get offended, every time somebody says something, then sit in the corner. Because you got to build the outer shell. Because life isn't kind. It's gonna beat you up every now and again. Don't participate in that bullying of yourself.
Definitely sit in that corner. If everything is going to upset you, something's wrong.
You need to really
wrong, because
reflect.
If everything is upsetting you, then you're
the problem.
And you're a victim to your environment. You are allowing your environment
to the problem.
Dictate everything. You are not willing to take responsibility for yourself. And listen, I get it. That was me. That was exactly me. When I tell you that the person you see now and listen to for the last 3 years, the badass Buddha was created within the last 6 years. Like, it's not saying I wasn't a nice person. It's not saying I wasn't a fun person to be with. I've had plenty of friends that I've known for a really long time, but I am definitely not the same person I used to be. And I would have never hung out with the old me as the me I am now, because I would have looked at that person and said, oh, I cannot stand being around your energy. You play the victim way too much. You're angry. You're this, because I was miserable in my life. I was miserable, instead of really looking deep down inside and saying, what is it that I need to fix? I just kept going and going and doing that smokescreen. And while my life is not exactly where I want it to be right now, I know why it is, because of these last few pieces. But as far as who I am now, I have never been this happier in my whole life. Like, I have never been so happy to be the person that I am now when I look back at the person that I was. And so that, I mean, I was that, like, it's funny when you said that, Gladiator Guru, it just really hit me. Like, I was that person. I was that person that would sit there and be nice and then look at somebody else and go, why is she wearing that? And then find people to be able to complain with. And that just doesn't look good on her. Who cares? Let her wear that. If she's proud to wear that, let her wear that. And that's me now. It's like, girl, you work it. Because when you said, Gladiator Guru, about people walking out, women in their bathing suits and the chichos hanging out, and you walking and like, oh my God, they're free, they don't care. I used to be that person that'd be like, God, well, how could she wear that out in public? And now I'm like, good for fucking you.
Well, yeah. And thank you for saying that, because, when you say, how could she wear that in public, was because she was displaying a confidence that you lacked. So you wasn't even looking at her chichos or the two-piece. You were looking at the fact that this woman who society looks down upon said, fuck you, and fuck you. I'm going to wear this because I only have one life to live. Tomorrow's not promised, mi gente. Thank you for sharing that, because you know what? When we show, and that's going to be a segment on the show. When we show what our flaws are, we bloom. Because once we say it out loud, it no longer controls us. So, and remember, endings are sad yet necessary. Everything is temporary. Everything is temporary. Your tits will sag. Your
life is
will
temporary.
You know what I mean? Your stomach is going to get a little flimsy. If you have kids, those stretch marks will seem like a little bigger. I don't know. It's like with time, as you age, they illuminate. I don't know. So, I mean, everything is temporary. The sadness, the tears, the hurt in your heart, the loneliness, the wanting to be lonely, all of that is temporary. Seize the moments in your life, because tomorrow's not promised. Yesterday on my break, I'm watching TikTok, and a TikTok father, 35-year-old, with him and his son would do these skits, and he became famous. This little 6-year-old boy, like, learned all the lines. It was hilarious. The Enky Boys, ENKY. And the father just died at 35 with colon cancer. And it's like, it blew up. He was on the news, regular news channels. Like, this kid and his dad blew up, that Kevin Hart met them and all of that, because of the sincerity and the fun. And when he announced he had cancer 6 months ago, he was told he had 5 years if the treatment didn't work, and then he died. So it's like, life isn't promised. No matter who you are, what's your status, how much money you have, how broke you are, it doesn't matter. You have moments in a day. So seize them. And you have to choose. I'm going to be angry. I'm going to have a 24-hour pity party because I was let down, because I'm fucking pissed off. Allow yourself permission to do that, but then have a cutoff time. That's healthy. And for every beginning, there's an end for new beginnings. For every beginning, there's an end for new beginnings. So when that door closes, girl, with my journal, you get a key. I'm plugging myself in.
And share that story too.
I get a key. You buy my set, right? Today was the last day, so you still have time to order the journal, 95-page journal, and the blank notepad that explains what Understand Her is. There you go. There you go. You got it. And it comes with a key. Why the key? Because the key is a reminder to all women that anything and everything that happens in your life, you are the gatekeeper of it. You have the key to lock or open any door of your life. Who you're allowing in, who you're putting out. What doors of chaos, of anger that you want to close out forever from your life. You are the gatekeeper of everything that happens in your life. Never say you had no control over it or you had no choice. You do. Take responsibility. As well as this is a pen for you to write your thoughts. For you to sit and write in that journal or anywhere else. Pen your story. We all have a story to tell. Write it. Be the author to tell your story as it happens. Don't allow other people
To
to
dictate
write
your
the
dang
story for
story.
you. And then you're going to be, I can't believe they said that. I can't believe they wrote that. I can't. Yes, you can, because you didn't do anything about it. Because you took your key that belonged to your precious gate, covered in gold as God promised, and you let it go. And now you're going to complain.
Or you handed it over to somebody else.
And homie ain't got time for that, boo-boo. Now we're here every day trying to tell you,
homie, don't play it.
That life is beautiful. It has been your gift. The breath you breathe is of gratitude every morning that you should give, that you can do that. How many people are on machines? Realize that the choices you have in life is to accept things as they are and to change things as you should. And go on. Wear that smile authentically and go on with your life. And whatever comes your way, ask yourself, am I going to tolerate this bullshit? Not today. You can leave that right over there. Or I'm going to assist in this problem, or I'm going to assist in this situation. Hey, honey, you need some help with something? You are the gatekeeper. So you know what? Hold on to your key. This one I left. You saw badass Buddhas. Some of them I made short so that they can hang on the thing. But I also have them long. And I wear this one. And I wore it the other day. And, I went to do something and it came out and I grabbed it. And I got happy because I am in control of my life. And changes are scary, like anything is. Changes are scary, but they must be done. And the change, whether to stay the same or to do something different, bigger, better, maybe a bit sad, but the outcome should be always to be better than what you were. And that's it.
So sit with this. This is it. This is the last day. Thursday we start Acknowledge and Acceptance Month, or Acknowledgement and Acceptance Month, whichever way you want to say it. But we're going to the next phase. But we are still on Know Thyself. We started with awareness. Now it's time to acknowledge who we are and accept who we are. Did you see that statement that Gladiator Guru said? Accept things as they are and change things as you should. It's not that we like to shit on ourselves or other people. Especially not other people, but shitting on ourselves. But sometimes we have to. Sometimes you got to get a little shit on you to make the change. So Acknowledge and Acceptance Month. This is going to be powerful. And then after that, we're going to go into Accountability Month. March is the accountability month. And then that ends the quarter. And then we check in on ourselves at the end, the very last day of March in that quarter, because the next phase after that to move on to is what's possible. And then we start to talk about the possibilities, the potentials, what we're capable of. So this is all a continuing thing. Really take this question into heart today. Really sit with this. Just because we're starting a new thing on Thursday does not mean you cannot let this work itself out for the rest of the week and through the weekend.
Yes.
We told you this last Thursday that we want you to go back and maybe quickly review some of those videos to see what you didn't answer. Get a notebook that is dedicated specifically to Viva this year, Viva 2023, so that you can actually use this as coaching. Right? Because this is what we do for a living. This is what we do. And we're giving you the opportunity to work on yourself. And it is going to take a little bit of time because we're going at a slower pace. But better to go at a slower pace and do it right than too fast and you just get overwhelmed and you say, forget it. And then we end the year and then we start 2024 and you're in the exact same place you were this time next year. This time last year, whatever. So we just want to thank you for coming on and being here today.
Yes, and for staying with us. And remember, the key plays a significant part, not my pen, but a key. And sometimes, we need to be reminded of certain things. We need to carry a talisman to remind us that we can do something. Pick one. Pick something that's going to remind you to stay grounded.
Not your nose. Don't pick your nose.
To
Pick
stay
something.
real. Something that's going to always have you, "Oh, I can't do this." And then you touch something, or you look at something, or you wear something like me, because anybody who knows I wear a fucking plate on my chest if I like it. And remind yourself, be the keeper of your soul and move forward. Always. Siempre pa'lante.
Wonderful. All right. So have at it, man. You got the whole day. You got tomorrow. Really sit with this. Think about it. Don't turn the damn TV on tonight. Don't binge watch anything. Don't sit on your phone and watch TikTok videos all night. How much time are you distracting from your own self? Have you been writing the same chapter for the last 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years? Okay. Just think if you're reading a story and if the same chapter would just repeat so you'd be like so aggravated with the story. And I am putting myself on that because while other things have happened in the last couple of years, there's still this little piece that has been the same story. And I'm sure my readers are going, for God's sakes already, would you just get rid of that piece already? I'm sorry. I'm tired of hearing it. As am I, my friends, as am I. So be the storyteller of your own story. You got this. Decide what makes you happy. And then let's get busy for February. Acknowledge and accept. All right. So thank you. And there's Deanna came on. We're also going to, I have to put a little reminder to myself, Gladiator Guru, also help me remember that Journal of Hope, which is Deanna Negron's baby, and I'm a board member of. We are, February is a collection month. So we're going to be looking for people to donate and help us out. So we'll put some links in there starting Thursday. And with every show, we'll put links in there so that you can donate to Journal of Hope. And we would really appreciate that because everybody needs something to write in to start telling their story. So
absolutely.
All right, Gladiator Guru, are you ready to close it out?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Everyone, thank you so much for coming on. And from the Badass Buddha, remember, be you, be real, and be extraordinary.
And from the Gladiator Guru, mi gente, recuerda, breathe in the beauty and breathe out the bullshit. Namaste.